For every employee, being awarded as Employee of the Year is the best recognition for all the hard work they put in. When you are an adult working, there are not so many awards that we get like when we were in school. It was the same for me when I was an employee too. We create an FB post, we inform our parents. Some parents even arrange a party to celebrate it. But when someone misuses the award, employers should not think twice to fire the Employee of the Year. This is one of the toughest decisions that an employer should be ready for. Servus everyone, I am Pravalika and you are watching Business Diaries. This is our humble initiative from bits of our experience for all the entrepreneurs who wish to learn a bit more. Today we are discussing about why did we fire Employee of the Year of our company. First of all, we will see why did he become Employee of the Year. We have chosen by these 5 factors. Factor 1. Employees should be recognized for their punctuality and dependability in reporting duties. They should be the ones who finishes their tasks on time and also be ready for additional responsibilities. Factor 2. Employees must excel in their field and also provide notable contribution to the department. Factor 3. Employee must have enthusiasm to bring positive energy to the team and take initiatives in more tasks from the regular job routine. Factor 4. Loyalty. Being in Germany, running a company both in India and Germany, loyalty of the employees is something we expect the most. Factor 5. Keeps an eye on competitors and their strategies in marketing and shows innovation in their working style. So, obviously, our Employee of the Year has checked in with all the factors, but factor 4, that is loyalty, was really interesting as we could always count on our employee. In general, how to fire an employee? Breaking the news to the employee will be harder than actual firing. Employers should be discreet while firing an employee. As employer, we need to invest some time in explaining the reason behind firing. 6 tips from our experience in firing an employee. Tip 1. We should always hold the meeting in a private cabin to ensure safe environment for the employee. So employee won't have to face the staring eyes and awkwardness in the office. Tip 2. Before getting ready for the meeting, make sure you have the access to all the important files, office email IDs and company properties. Tip 3. We should always fire an employee face to face and avoid email or phone termination. It's better to be on point and focus on termination during the meeting. You should make sure that the decision is final and it's not up for negotiation. Tip 4. If employee goes into an argument, it's better not to involve in the argument and repeat the sentences like, "We understand, but our decision is final." It's simple that way. As employers, we should always show grace and dignity. This will help us in future if the employee tries to file a lawsuit against us. Tip 5. Be ready for questions from employees like, will he or she be paid salary for the working days? Clearing the bills regarding casual leaves if there is any, reference letters and experience letters, etc. Tip 6. Give some contact number, maybe yours or another employee, to approach in case of questions. Now, why did we fire Employee of the Year? To protect his privacy, let's assume he is Mr. John. Mr. John is associated with our company from the beginning of its establishment. In the beginning, Mr. John was not at his full potential, but as employers, we saw his ability to achieve more. We have enrolled him in business English classes, personality development classes to give him a scope for improvement. Over the years, Mr. John showed exceptional skills in the 5 factors that I mentioned earlier. Finally, he was our first employee of the year. After receiving the award, Mr. John's attitude has changed and he was drifted to a wrong path. Slowly, the happiest clients started complaining about some services not being provided by the company as promised. When we spoke to the clients, often we heard that Mr. John has promised many things to clients to make them buy our services. Point is, we were never informed about the promises that were made by Mr. John. We always make a written agreement on the services and the payments. Still, we supported Mr. John thinking he will never do such thing. Mr. John was promoted as marketing head from an entry-level job in just 1 year. We have offline marketing such as brochure distribution, booklets for education fairs, marketing materials, etc. Slowly, costs of the prints have been increased to a point that we had to cross-verify by contacting the vendors. For a year, we never noticed the differences, but once Mr. John got greedy and tremendously increased the invoice, I think during New Year, and got caught. As you can see, we printed 1000 brochures with 130 GSM A4 at a rate of 2.3 rupees per sheet on 31st December 2018. The same brochure with 5 times the quantity, that is 5000 copies, on 12th December 2019 costed 3.5 rupees per sheet. Even if you consider inflation, cost per sheet will not increase tremendously, especially when you print more copies. This is just one example. We have almost 20 vendors across India and Mr. John was dealing with all of them directly as he was the marketing head. We confronted all the vendors and after long discussions, we realized that Mr. John made an agreement with vendors and increased all the invoices and kept the difference in the amount to himself. We received the actual invoices from the vendors and there was a difference of 2.5 lakhs rupees over 1 year. Actual loss might be even higher. We always treated Mr. John as family. He was with us from the beginning of our journey. It was very stressful to know someone we considered as family was in fact stealing from us. See, it was not easy to fire Mr. John because at this point he was with us from about 3 years and he was involved in many projects. If he had some financial problems, he knows that he can approach us and discuss his problems. Instead, he chose to become a thief. To bring positive energy and remove stress, we often take our employees to tours. No matter how close you behave with your employees, always realize company comes first. A very important lesson to learn here is, whatever the circumstances are, keeping it professional with employees is better for the company. But this was a wake-up call for us and we have given an opportunity to discuss the stealing that was done. But Mr. John did not have anything to say in his defense. We have given a notice to repay the amounts he has stolen from the company and we had to let him go. Employers should always stay awake, that is 24/7, 365 days to keep the company safe. Never trust anyone completely and be ready to face some backstabbing too. Most importantly, always verify every dealings, not twice but thrice. Talk to your vendors once in a while. At the end, you are the one who is paying them and not your employees. Therefore, most vendors will be open about such malpractices. Firing an employee is not an easy task for the employer. It's a huge loss and lot of time should be invested in hiring and training a new employee and bring them to marketing head position. If you are an employee, be loyal to the company. After all, it brings food to your table every day. Small manipulations may go unnoticed for a short time, but you will always get caught, and that will be the end. Such negative marks may follow you throughout your career. In business world, once a thief is always a thief, and there won't be a second chance. If there is anything troubling, including financial crisis, be honest with your employer. As we always say, being an entrepreneur is challenging, and we are gonna be a better version of ourselves every day. We received many queries on how to start a company in Germany. We are so glad to see that many incredible entrepreneurs starting their journeys. We hope you have learned something from our experience, and we will see you in our next video. Auf Wiedersehen!